Okay, we're at the top of the hour, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for everybody that's attended or anybody watching this. Most certainly appreciate you spending your morning with me for the next 30 minutes. My name is Dustin Wiest. I'm a healthcare principal with InfoWorks. I do quite a bit of software product work, product management, product strategy. And so, like I said, I appreciate you spending some time with me to talk about what I see as 5 key ingredients for product success, and then just a little bit of my slant on buzzwords that I think are overused in the market and product and really get you in trouble. So to kind of level set today, we are going to talk about software products, really the product management space, anything that is wrapped around the development of software product, a data product. I think that these key ingredients work really well for any of those. But I do bring from the product side. So hopefully you leave this webinar or you're watching it later on with some tips on how to build better roadmaps, how to position investments in software products, how to communicate better with potential investors, whether that's internal or external. But I do believe all of these ingredients will help you if you just kind of think about the principles that I'm going to talk about here. So let's get rolling. So I get asked often, what do I do? Because my company isn't really there. And so I wanted to talk about the kind of stages that I see on the road to product success, or the different stages of where you might be from a product perspective in your organization. And think about that as I go through the presentation, because the ingredients are the same, but the way that you will come about being successful with your roadmap will look different depending upon where you are in those stages. And I'd love for questions later, or email me about, hey, I'm in this stage and you talked about customers. How do I do that given where I am? So I'm just kind of talking about the stages that I see that companies go through. The first is really CEO driven. Small companies, it's chaotic. There's lots of ideas, but they're coming from the CEO. The CEO started the company for a reason, had an idea, and he or she wants to follow through with that idea. And so product is fast paced at this time. You're trying a lot of things. You're going quickly through development. And so this looks different for organizations that are much more mature, but product is equally important in this stage as it is in a more mature organization. So, I see the CEO-driven environment, hiring your first product owner, and that most certainly plays a part in how you're going to interact and how you're going to use these ingredients. The second is really, the push to outsource. So you start to grow and you're growing really fast, and you accelerate your roadmap. And there's some spend control that you want to do. Hey, I want to make sure it's done with this amount of money. Waterfall comes into play huge here, because you have to say what you want in this stage in order to do a good job of outsourcing it. And then you get this, why are things taking so long? Because we're documenting like crazy during this stage. And so a product owner looks different in this stage. But again, ingredients are all the same. After that, you go through, like I call this is too much money. You outsource and you're spending a lot of money. You're writing things down. And so you move to be more collaborative. You start an agile process. You go through an agile transformation. You want to be more product driven because you've seen other organizations that have gone through this stage, and they see the value of a product-led organization, and they feel that that's a way to control some of the cost, get things out more rapidly. And so this is a good stage for product owners, but not the best, but a good stage, and there's a lot to be learned from this stage. Then is my least favorite, and should be your least favorite. This is when I say the CTO fights back. Most people today live in an organization where they report to the CTO. To me, this is about control. This is about governance, and it stifles product. I think I get asked what's the best scenario for a product owner. You need autonomy, and you'll hear from me in the next 25 minutes a lot about being the CEO of your product line. You can't do that reporting to a CTO that's trying to control technology costs. You have to be creative and innovative. And so you think about the first stage, CEO driven, and how fast you're able to produce product and how ideas are flowing. You can't operate like that forever, but you also can't operate where you're stifling product and you've got massive amounts of governance. But many people have to live in this stage. And so understanding where you are and understanding how to be successful as a product owner in this stage is key. And you can still apply the same things that I'm going to talk about here. It's just you have to understand your organization. You have to understand what you have to go through to be successful and to apply these ingredients. So it's very important in this stage to really know that, understand it, and know how to work with it. The utopia is product revolution, which you see a lot of companies going to this because they're being successful. Silicon Valley has shown us that the rise of the product officer is a good thing in organizations, and you control spend. You do all the things that you want in those earlier stages, but you're able to rapidly develop ideas and come up with cool, innovative things because you allow product to be the CEO of their product lines and really get creative and use these things. So when I look at this, I think it's equally important to understand where you are and to apply these things based on where you are. So keep that in mind. As I transition to these 5 key ingredients, I can't stress enough that your customer is the most important. And customer means something to everybody different. A customer can be constituents, can be internal stakeholders, can be paying customers, non-paying customers. So you have to understand who your customer is in order to win. I know that gets overplayed, but it's super important, and you're going to hear it through everything I'm going to say today. I'm going to continue to say it. You email me, I'm going to continue to say, who's your customer? Know your customer. That's the most important. So I've found 2 quotes that I love. First one comes from Ken Blanchard. Says, just having satisfied customers isn't good enough anymore. If you really want a booming business, if you really want product to take off, you have to create raving fans. I get called on about adoption a lot. So we're losing customers. We can't keep a good flow of customers. Revenues are down. How do I fix that? It's that, how do you create a raving fan? If I have a raving fan, then I've hooked my customer. They're more likely to use the product. And so sometimes that's a sales gig. Sometimes that's a marketing gig. Sometimes that's having good backlog. But what I'm going to talk about in this customer segment is how to create that raving fan, how to build better backlog to create that raving fan. The second one is equally important. The most unhappy comes from Bill Gates. Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. It's so true. I think that demand management in product is very important, not from cycling through the demand and getting things done, but looking at why customers are logging things against your product. Why are they interested in changing something about your product? Why are they upset? And I take the psychology approach to try to get in their mind to understand, because if you are dealing with, Xfinity or whomever provider, and you get so upset that you have to call, there's something that led to that. And that's where we really have to learn. And so kind of take that away, create raving fans, but then learn from the ones that are really unhappy. And I promise you'll build better backlog. So to come to my first story, this is obviously a dial from a washing machine, but the first time I ever was introduced to Agile, I was actually in Scotland over in the UK, and we were rolling out Agile. I had done Agile work before, but I'd never had formal training. And the person doing the training, rightfully so, says, in product, you build something and only, at that time, it was 40%. I read from Pendo, which Pendo is a great tool on the market to be able to track features in your product and see what customers are using. They estimate around 80% of product features actually aren't used. So this person stands up their Agile presentation and they said, all these features aren't used. So why are you developing them? And I sat there and I thought to myself, I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Let's think about a washing machine. These features that are on the washing machine help sell the washing machine and get more revenue for the company. So if we all built washing machines that had one setting to them, they would be extremely cheap and it would be a commodity, which yes, I agree, to some degree it is. But those features are what set the washing machine apart, and they also allow for more customer revenue. So it's an interesting balance. It's the art and the science of being a good product manager, because if I take sportswear on here, so the soccer mom that goes and buys a new washing machine sees that sportswear feature, and if it's important to her that she wants to put all of her kids' equipment in the washing machine and use the sportswear setting, she's going to buy this washing machine because, boy, that's nice. It has a sportswear feature. She may never use it, but at the point of sale, that feature sold her. And that's really important, and you're going to hear more about that. So think about users and buyers when building backlog, and think about what the customer really thinks they want at the time or thinks they want to use at the time. And you'll hear more about that here in a sec. So I'm going to start with the first ingredient. Each ingredient will have the buzzwords that I feel like should not be used. And so we'll kind of go through this, and not in any order of importance, although the first one is the most important. Know what is valuable to your customer. So if you're looking at your backlog, you need to be thinking about your customer in that. Well, what does that mean, and what does Dustin say is the most important? Build features that matter. So what matters to that particular customer? And that could be a large set of customers. If it's an internal application, it could be the people that are going to use it within the company. But think about what really matters to those people. Can you implement it? So I can build a feature set all day long, but if it's not implementable, if the person can't actually use it or it takes forever, then it's just not going to be valuable to the customer. If it takes, a bunch of data entry to make it work, the customer doesn't want to do data entry. It's just not implementable. So really think critically about your backlog and what's implementable for your customer. So features that sell. Go back to the washing machine. If I can build a feature like a sportswear setting on the washing machine, and I know that's going to sell because I know my customer is potentially soccer moms that have a lot of gear, then build features that can sell. Talk to your salespeople, talk to your marketing people, and know that customer base so well that I know that's going to sell. Okay. In this, also think about, and this is, could do a whole nother talk on this, but think about what's table stakes, what performance needs to be. Think about what automation needs to happen. Think about all of the things that are wrapped around a feature, and then decide can it sell. So table stakes being things that other products in the market already have that are just going to get me level set with the market. How is it going to perform? So great that I want to sell. I know it can sell, but can it perform? That all needs to be taken into account when you think about what features can sell. Overused, but very important, what makes your customer look good? So think about if I have a user base that has a management group over them. If the user base uses the product and the manager looks good because the users are using the product, and I'm building features that show the manager how well they're doing, that makes them look good. They're more likely to drive your product. They're more likely to have adoption if the customer looks good because of it. If I come home and my wife says, hey, I can wash all of the kids' soccer stuff in here because it has a sportswear setting, and that's going to make our kids look better. That makes me feel better, makes my wife feel better. The feature sold, and it makes me look good. Home run. The last thing, things that grab attention. So think back to the washing machine panel. What was the first thing that you saw, and did it grab your attention? Think about the product. It looks good, colors are good, but think about what grabs attention. That's going to create buzz. That's going to create people talking about it. And that's going to be that one thing that somebody says, hey, I like this product because of X. And as a product owner, I don't care what X is. I just want X to be something. And so think about what grabs attention, and all press is good press, right? So anything that they come up with that grabs attention is good. If they don't like that it's a ugly shade of green, that's great. Remember, bad customers equal us being better as product owners. So all press is good press. Just make sure you grab attention and think about your backlog of which is going to grab attention more. So here we go with buzzwords. In customer world, I hate the word scalable. Scalable has a meaning, has a purpose in certain settings, but to talk to my customer about being scalable, I really need to know their environment and I need to know what they're scaling to. So it's dangerous. It's just a dangerous word to use. Marketable is a dangerous word to use with the customer. I better know their marketing strategy. I better know where they're going, what they're going to do with it. I better know all of that before I tell a customer, oh, this feature is really marketable. And in large product sets with lots of customers, it's almost impossible to know every angle that they're trying to market your product. So stay away from scalable with talking to customers. Stay away from marketable. It's a buzzword. It's going to get you into trouble. And so that'll be the theme of the rest of these ingredients. But the first one, know what is valuable to your customer. Second one, don't be afraid to take some risks. Just take good ones. So you really need to take risks. And your organization, think back to where you are, may or may not allow you to take risks. But where you get to take risks, don't be afraid. Just take good ones. So how do you take good ones? Well, you've got to live and thrive in some ambiguity. I don't always know what my product is going to do, what value it's going to bring, especially now in the data world. I can build 100 features and one data feature, and that could sell better and generate more revenue. I would never have known that, but you have to live in some of that ambiguity because product is an art and a science, and the art part of it is living in ambiguity. And so if you just go with everything that's a slam dunk, you're leaving a lot on the table. So train your organization to live in some ambiguity, train yourself to live in some ambiguity, because my final message here is the same. I'm going to repeat is you've got to be the CEO of your product line. And if you are the CEO of your product line, you're great at taking risks. CEOs are great at taking risks. So if you keep that as your beacon, I want to be the CEO of this product line, you will take some risks. So coaching up is a big deal in taking risks. I have to educate my constituents on what I'm trying to do and why I'm trying to take risks, and then coach them up to understand it's okay. One of the clients I worked with, I told them, I said, what if you tell everybody, we don't know what we're going to get out of this, but we know we're headed in the right direction? I said, well, we'll all be fired. Well, wait a minute, hold on a second. You're about to do the best thing for your organization and build everything that your organization needs, and you don't know where that's going to take you. Why would you get fired? They had done a poor job of coaching up their organization, saying, hey, we have to make these changes, and we're going to make them, and it's going to be a good thing, but we don't know what we're going to get out of it. So they hadn't done a good job of coaching up. Company strategy helps you when you take risk. So what does this mean? So if the company strategy is to increase customer retention, and I'm going to take a risk that if it pays off, it will increase customer retention. Communicating that to the organization, you will be much more successful. If you don't have a company strategy, go get one. Map your features to that company strategy, and you will be able to take risk more often because the risk, if it pays off, will help the organization. If you're taking a risk and the company doesn't seem to mind about technical debt, that's not a strategy, whatever, then you're not going to be able to take risk in it because it's not going to mean anything to your company. So know what your company strategy is, map the features that you're taking risk on into that, and that's easier later if it doesn't work out to explain it. Documentation wins, just document everything, risk, mitigation strategies, they're key. They're a pain, I know, but documentation wins when you take a risk and it doesn't pay off. And you'll get more political capital if you document and say, yep, we knew we were taking this risk. It didn't pay off. I failed. Sorry, but we're gonna get another at bat. I don't like real time in this space. If you're taking risks and you're going to tell somebody that, hey, we're going to do this in real time, you better define real time. And real time can mean a lot of things. So just be careful with that. And I'm going to have a big data play. I don't want to take a risk telling my CEO we're going to go real time with the big data play. Holy cow, you better get ready to write a fat check. So I stay away from these two things. I define, hey, we're going to have a 30-day plan for the data that's going to come in, and we're going to try to integrate these 5 data sets in order to build this feature. That's it, period. So I stay away from those two words. The third, hold on. Okay. The third is financial and technical risks. So you have to take financial and technical risks to be a good product owner. You need to measure both of these. So you need to have a measurement for your financial risk that you're taking and a measurement for the technical risk that you're taking. This can be a CapEx versus OpEx budget. This can be what technical debt, but you need to measure the financial and technical risk that you're going into. Technical debt is the most important because that could come to bite you in the end. And so you really want to have a good measurement for technical debt and project that out to your organization. Predicting financial spend, a good solution architect can help you product owners to predict financial spend and go back to the taking risk, take some risk with you, and that's okay. So, but that's going to allow you to predict your financial spend and really understand what the footprint for this particular feature is going to be. Last thing, and the most important, is create a forum for finance. So if there's product owners out here watching this that don't have a good relationship with your controller, your CFO, you need to. And what that's going to do is you're going to start to speak their language. So you look at your product and it's the cash cow for the organization. So it's the one generating the most revenue. If you can have the conversation with your CFO, I understand I'm the cash cow. So success for me is continuing to produce recurring revenue. And in order to do that, I want to invest in A, B, and C. That conversation will be much easier than I just want an amount of money. Well, so what are you measuring as success? Well, we grow the product 30%. CFO says, well, wait a minute, we don't plan on growing that product 30%. It's our cash cow. We want to maintain it. So finance will always help you direct where your spend needs to be. The other thing that finance will help you with is if you know the revenue model for your customer, knowing your customer, then if that revenue model changes, having finance to say, hey, we're going to have to build these features because our product is irrelevant now to our customer base because their revenue model changed and the way we build them or the way they use our product is also changing. That's a much easier conversation with finance, and they will understand why you're trying to spend money much better if you come to them with this. I hate platform here. It's overused. CFOs, I love to say, hey, we've got this platform, but what does it mean? How much money do I have to dump into it? So I don't like the word platform when I talk to a CFO. I can market with it, but CFOs, not so much. So I stay away from platform and financial and technical risks. Train your cross-functional team. So a cross-functional team is made up of all your constituents. So that can be your sales, finance, that can be your marketing, your implementation, anybody that touches your product. And you need to engage with them. Again, CEOs engage with their inner circle every single day. You need to be engaging with your inner circle and create a real team. That you need to show that we're in this together. And so if we're in this together, then they're going to understand what you're trying to do. You're going to understand what they're trying to do. If you can make feature sets the idea of your cross-functional teams, your idea, but you make it their idea. it's much easier to get buy-in. They get excited about what you're doing. They get riled up. They get fired up. But make it their idea. Expect answers from you. So you need to expect that they want answers from you. But I always say this in the product world, but let them make decisions. So you can get them to the goal and you can push them to, this is what we should do, but if they make the decisions, they're bought into it, they're much more excited, and they will support you when you're taking risks. So look at your backlog today and go down that list and tell yourself, what is my cross-functional team not engaged in? What does sales have no idea? Marketing, no idea. Implementation, no idea what I'm there, and really reevaluate the priority of those features and say, I probably need to go back to the table. And if that's the one thing you get out of this, great. But that's a key note there. Your cross-functional team needs to know what you're up to. And CEOs are the same way. Their teams have got to know what they're up to. So I hate sexy here. Don't go to your cross-functional. Oh, this is going to be a sexy feature. Oh, this is going to be just phenomenal. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Don't. They are there for the details. They need to know what it is, what you're doing. Game changers the same. Oh, this is going to be a game changer. It's going to be a game changer. You're setting yourself up for failure. These are the people that are in the foxhole with you. These are the people that are locking arms with you, trying to get stuff done. They don't need to hear sexy, game changer, big idea. They don't need to hear that. Finally, hold yourself accountable. Biggest thing, CEO holds himself accountable. It's them. They're at the top. The ultimate prize is getting it done. Don't make excuses. Hold yourself accountable. You'll be a much better product owner if you do. Think like you're on the hook. Every feature that you have on that backlog, you need to think, if that doesn't go well, it's my fault. And if you think that way, you will better prioritize. You'll build a better backlog because you'll be invested in it. Then you'll get your cross-functional team invested in it. Then you'll get your customer invested in it. See how this starts to snowball and create some momentum? So think like you're on the hook. Plan like you're on the hook. So if you plan accordingly and you deliver on time like you're accountable, then you won't overspend. You will spend on the right things. You will start to have conversations with people in your organization that says, that's a $100,000 feature. Do we really want to spend $100,000 on it? Whereas today I see more of, we're going to give you $5 million, product owner, and go build something. That's great. I'd love to have $5 million to go build something, but I want to be on the level of, do we really need this for $100,000, and can we sell it? Can we implement it? Is it going to make the customer happy? Is it going to make them look good? So plan like you're on the hook. Take feedback personally. Think back to Bill Gates's quote, I want to know what my customers that don't like me think. And then I want to take that personally. If you don't like a feature of mine, I want to know it because I want to fix that. Under promise and over deliver. So demand management, big deal in every product owner's world. How do I get all this stuff done? I don't like to say, oh yeah, I'll get that done. Oh yeah, I'll get that done. Oh yeah, I'll get that done. I like to under promise, over deliver. It gives me space. It makes my customers happy. So if you do all that, hold yourself accountable, your backlog will be better in the end. That's on me. My bad. Those two are just, they're just tough in the accountability world. I think people see accountability much better than they hear accountability. So they want to see you deliver. They want to see you make results. And so I just don't like, that's on me and my bad. Okay, so we're about out of time here, and throw questions up on the board if you have any questions. We'll take questions here at the end. Just to recap, 5 key ingredients. Know what is valuable to your customer and everything that they consider as valuable. Know the financial and technical risks, document them, keep track of them, have good conversations with your CFO. Take good risks. You've got to take risks in product or you're not going to grow. So have a process set up where you can take good risks. Train your cross-functional team. They're the most important piece of your success is the people around you, the people that are in it with you day to day and that you need in order to be successful. So train them to be. And then hold yourself accountable. Make sure that you're the one that is looked at as the CEO, and you're the one that's pointing fingers back at yourself when you don't deliver. It's your product line, and if you want to get to the product revolution, the product utopia, you will act like a CEO of your product line, and that's going to start with holding yourself accountable. So thank you again. I thoroughly appreciate the time. Again, my name is Dustin Wiest. I'm with InfoWorks, and I really appreciate everyone tuning in. If there's any questions, throw them to the live chat. I'll be happy to answer those. If you're interested in further questions, or what did you mean by that, feel free to email me. I'm always happy to take questions over email. So appreciate the time. Thank you.